Welcome to New Life Live, the premier place to receive free advice from Christian psychologists and counselors for the mental, emotional, relational, and spiritual challenges you face. Since 1988, we've offered compassionate responses that combine God's truth with proven psychological principles to guide you toward healing. Our phone lines are open. Call us now at 1-800-229-3000.
Happy Monday, everyone. People dread Mondays, but you don't have to. You've got the Lord on your side, and we've got your back. If you feel like you've tried everything and nothing seems to help, call us at 1-800-229-3000 for a plan to help you move forward. There is always something you can do, and we can help. I'm Brian Perez, by the way, in the studio for 2 hours today with licensed marriage and family therapist Chris Williams and another LMFT author, Marc Cameron. 2 for the price of 1. And the price is 0. Call in 1-800-229-3000. One call could change everything. Get on the New Life Live lines now for answers that bring peace and direction. Mark, what has the Lord placed on your heart?
Yeah, I want to talk about codependency today and how to break free from an unhealthy spousal dynamic that happens. Now, usually when someone calls me for couples therapy and one person is in addiction or is unrepentant from an affair, I'm honest with them. There's a low chance of couples therapy being effective because usually the betrayed spouse is the one doing all the work. They're working tirelessly to hold things together, but over time that takes an emotional toll on them. Now, in healthy interdependent relationships, care and responsibility, that flows both ways. But in a codependent relationship, one person is taking care of the other because their sense of self, identity, self-worth, or emotional stability are usually tied in with that other person. And so people who struggle with codependency often feel responsible for the other person's feelings or behavior. They have difficulty setting or maintaining healthy boundaries, or they fear rejection or abandonment, and so they maintain the relationship at the expense of their own well-being. Now, when one spouse is in addiction or unrepentant after an affair, they can't work on relational problems because their loyalty is not to their spouse, it's to the addiction or it's to the affair. So even if they say sorry just acknowledges that I did something wrong. But repentance is actually making efforts to heal. And when someone's unrepentant, that usually signifies ongoing acting out behavior that's hidden. Now, Jesus said in Matthew 6:24, no one can serve 2 masters. You either hate one and love the other, or you will be devoted to one and despise the other. Now, he was speaking specifically about money, but that principle remains true in all areas. A person's allegiance can't be split between their spouse and an addiction or their affair, because the two can't coexist together, because both are in direct competition for devotion and attention of the person. So ultimately, whatever a person believes is going to meet their needs the most is what's going to end up winning in the end. So the hard truth is we can't manage another person's recovery, but we can stop enabling behavior and create a situation where the person must choose between healing or the addiction. Now, codependency tells us, I need you to be okay so that I can be okay. However, healing occurs when we can learn to be okay without the other person, even if they don't choose to enter into recovery. Now, I'm not saying you have to leave someone, and any decision to leave should be taken with the help of a trusted and experienced counselor. But when we can't break free from codependency, it's often because of our own insecurity, our fear of abandonment, our fear of rejection, our lack of self-worth. Yet, when we stay, that only perpetuates loneliness and self-esteem. So Proverbs 27:17 says, iron sharpens iron. And that means both people are open to correction and accountability. Now, healthy relationships require 2 emotionally healthy individuals, each with their own sense of identity, who are strong enough and willing enough to challenge one another to grow. So owning and working on our own insecurities is our part in correcting and being accountable. Because when you become your healthiest self, you can say no to destructive behavior, and you can break free from codependency.
That's so good, yeah. I always say there's an or in every relationship. If you're in the boat together, you need your OAR. You need ownership of everything that's yours. You need an apology, but you also need the repair. The repair is the paddle at the end. If you don't have a repair, you just have a stick that won't get you anywhere. So that repair takes a lot of work.
That's good.
Yep. All right. We're going to take some calls. 1-800-229-3000. Marty, you will be up first when we come back here on New Life Live.
Hello, everybody. It's Becky Brown, and I'm coming to you with an urgent need. There are many people that are in difficult relationships, difficult places in their lives.
How do I navigate through that and not to hurt my son?
We had some generous friends of New Life that started a matching gift, and every gift will be doubled up to $475,000. The matching window closes December 31st, so don't wait. Every moment matters in recovery, healing, and restoration.
I do a lot of work in my local church, and so just being able to hear y'all work through some of these situations really helps me to have some insight on how to help others.
Make your gift today by going to newlife.com, click on Donate, or text the word MATCH to 28950. You can also call us, 1-800-NEW-LIFE. Together, we will bring hope and help to so many more people. And I want to say thank you in advance. Call 1-800-NEW-LIFE, or you can text the word MATCH to 28950.
To find out more information about New Life or to order any of the resources mentioned on today's program, call 1-800-NEW-LIFE. Now back to New Life Live.
If you want to understand your attachment style, we've got just the thing. A book titled, appropriately enough, Understanding Your Attachment Style. It's available for purchase in the newlife.com store, and we've got the author available in the New Life studio, Marc Cameron, along with Chris Williams, answering the questions about the things you find distressing at 1-800-229-3000. Let's begin our time on the phones with Marty in Fairfax, Virginia, listening on newlife.com. Hey, Marty, welcome.
Hello, thank you for taking my call. And I don't even know where to start. However, I know you don't have time to listen to all the wailings, but I'll just be brief.
Well, start with your main question. What's the main?
My main question is, should I confront my husband? I found out that he has been having an affair, and I found out by one night I was with him watching a show on his phone, came in at 5 p.m. that night, and it was from a woman. And the next day I went on the phone and not on the phone. I looked in his message and I found the text. And then later on, I saw him text her and said, I have to see you. I'm coming, I'm leaving work such and such a time, and we have to talk. So that was the Monday before Thanksgiving.
Okay.
And then he saw me sulking, and he said, what's the problem? And I said, why is somebody coming into you at 10:45 p.m. at night?
Mm-hmm.
And he was silent. And I further found out this weekend, I looked again, and I saw where she came in to say, I love you, and he responded, I still love you. So my question is, should I confront him? Because then that would be a betrayal. He would figure that I'm snooping and looking in his messages. So I just wondered, should I confront him to that? Because he did ask me on Wednesday, what's wrong? Because he saw me sulking, and I said nothing.
So then, you're afraid that he's going to think you're betraying him by looking at his phone,
yes,
but yet
by looking at his messages.
Yeah.
But then he asked me, and I said to him, you are having an affair with this woman. And he said, no, he's not having an affair. I'm lying. And he said, I need an apology.
Okay. What do you guys...
So he wants her to apologize to him? So is that right, Marty?
Yes.
Okay. All right.
No, he wants me to apologize for accusing him of having an affair. So I just wondered, my question is, should I, because I took pictures of the text.
Yeah, so Marty, let me jump in here. So, yes, you should absolutely confront him. Because this is a very, very serious problem. And as Mark introduced our show, talking about if there is an affair in a relationship, especially in a marriage, and the person committing the affair is not repentant, and he's not even honest. And you may want to look up this thing called 𝙇𝙑𝙀, and it's a textbook thing that he's doing. What he's doing is he's denying, and then he's accusing, and then flipping it around and making you the villain and him the victim.
Yeah.
And that's just, I'm just telling you, that's a very, very dangerous relational pattern. And there is no good outcome to it. Most importantly for you. And so being able to confront that, and he's not, now if he wants to flip it around and be like, oh, well, you're snooping on my phone. I'm like, well, listen, in a healthy marriage, relationships are disclosed, like all of them, And so not in a way that we're like telling on each other ourselves, but in a way that we keep the waters clean, especially when it comes to relationships with a person of the opposite sex. Now, he's doing this in such a way that he's actually telling on himself. And what I mean by that is if he was healthy, if there's nothing going on, and he says, hey, and you're saying, hey, I think you're having an affair, or hey, there's an inappropriate relationship with this woman, a healthy partner, a healthy husband would sit down and be like, okay, let's look at this. Let's go through it. I want to ensure that trust is maintained in our relationship. He's not doing any of that. And so I want you to be really crystal clear that there's a crisis in your marriage right now, and that if he's in denial, I don't want you to partner with that denial. I want you to stay in reality, and you're probably going to need a lot of support to do that.
Yeah, Marty.
Yeah.
What's going on? That behavior, it's not actually snooping, it's called safety-seeking behavior. And it's very, very common. And the feeling that you have of, oh, I'm snooping and what I'm doing is wrong, is not wrong in this case. Because the wound of betrayal is something bad is happening to me without me knowing about that. And that forces the betrayed person to be a detective, to go out and to find out how much is going on, how they're being hurt, because he's gaslighting you here, which is common in betrayal. He's telling you that the reality is not the reality, but you know for a fact it is. You've seen the messages, you have pictures of it. So he's the person who's doing something wrong. You're not doing something wrong. It's absolutely normal what you're doing. Any person would do that. And I hate to use absolutes here, but I think it's an absolute. Every betrayed person in this situation does this safety-seeking behavior. They look to see, how am I being hurt? Because I didn't know I was being hurt. I need to find out the extent of it. And so Chris is right. It's something that needs to be addressed, because if it's not addressed, he continues to hurt you, and he's the one blocking intimacy. You can't recover in your marriage. Recovery actually starts in disclosure. It doesn't start in discovery. It starts when the unfaithful spouse comes to you and confesses it all. And usually in therapy, we do something called a full therapeutic disclosure, where the therapist works on a letter with the unfaithful spouse to get it all out there in a non-blaming way. Now, true, there are relationship problems that you're both responsible for, but he's responsible for affairs and acting out in this way. And so I suggest, and if you don't have a therapist, let us put you in touch with someone, working with a therapist and getting some support. Do you have support around you from family members, friends, a pastor, a counselor?
No, I might add that he called his sister and was actually crying and telling her that I am accusing him of having an affair when he's not.
Are you close? Are you close to the sister?
No. She is like on his side. If I would tell her that what he's doing, she would deny it and say no, not her brother.
But what about your support, Marty? Do you have friends, family?
No, I don't have anybody to disclose this for, because I'm ashamed that this relationship. Everybody thinks that I'm having such a good marriage, but I'm hiding it. I can't tell it. There's not one single person I could tell.
Well,
I'm ashamed.
Well, Marty, to go with what Mark was saying, the shame is oppressing you. The shame is keeping you down. That needs to be the first thing that you address in your life, is what are the things that keep me stuck in my own pain because I'm terrified for what's happening to me to get out. And so getting in with a therapist who's held to confidentiality, who provides a safe place for you to be able to look at it and open it up and being like, what is going on inside of me that I am participating in the denial. And I say this, denial is deadly, and I'm not overstating that. Denial is what kills addicted people. It's what psychologically kills and behaviorally kills addicted people, because there's always help. There's always recovery, but you can't get there if denial is active. And it's that first part. So I would just want to go through this really quickly, that 𝙇𝙑𝙀 thing. And that's what he's doing. D stands for denial. He's denying that there's anything wrong. And so that's the gaslighting part, making you question your own reality. Then he attacks back. That's the A. And then reverses the roles. That's the R. Making himself the victim. That's the V. And you the offender. And I hate to say it, but it wouldn't have a definition. It wouldn't be a thing if it wasn't a thing. What I mean by that is it's just this very typical tactic of people who are either stuck in a narcissistic relational pattern or are hiding something, like an addiction or an affair. And so my concern is for you, that just keeps you in a tremendous amount of pain and fear. Mm-hmm. So that's where, piggybacking off of what Mark was saying, maybe it doesn't get into a couples therapy because obviously he's not willing, but getting into your own therapy to start off with so that you have the strength to confront him.
Yeah, Marty, let me normalize a little bit more. That shame that you're feeling, that's actually also common. It's very, very common. But what happens is you're actually taking on his shame. And you're confusing it for your own shame. And that's what happened. Like, he's the person doing something wrong. There's nothing wrong with you because he's choosing to have an affair. And affairs, the only way that they flourish like this is in the darkness. And so this is going to be, like Chris is saying, this is going to be your work, and it's hard work, and I know that. It's really, really hard. But to get this out into the light, I'm not saying that you got to go and post this on, the pictures on Facebook or anything like that. What I'm saying is I would reveal the pictures to him. Let him know that you have evidence beyond a shadow of a doubt, that you can see that you can see what is happening. I mean, and he may even try and deny from there, oh, that's just a childhood friend, and we I just say I love you to all of my friends. And he could do that, but that's where it's important that you do disclose this to somebody who's trusted, somebody who's wise, a counselor, and that you also get your friends around you and you build a support group, you build a community so that they can help you be more objective when you're feeling this shame. Are you connected to a therapist? If not, let us connect you.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, Marty?
Honestly, I will have to think about it. The reason is my resources are small, and I really can't afford to do anything right now. I'm in a corner, and I know I need to do something. That's why I'm calling.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Well, we have a workshop here called Restore. Yeah. It's for women who have been victims of affairs and men acting out sexually against them. And maybe we can get you some help toward a scholarship to come to this. But we definitely can send you some resources in the meantime. Yeah, but reach out to a friend. Who's your closest friend? Do you have a pastor? Reach out to that person.
Yeah, the Restore Intensive is happening in March in Dallas, Texas. Everyone can find out more details about it at newlife.com or by calling 1-800-NEW-LIFE. Marty, just for calling in today, we're going to send you a copy of the book Intimate Deception by our friend Dr. Sherry Denham-Keffer. And everyone listening and watching right now is going to be praying for you. Thank you so much for calling in today with your heartbreaking situation. And on top of what Mark said about showing him, or both guys said this, showing the pictures on your phone, maybe save those photos somewhere else, because if he has access to your phone, he can go in there and delete them, and then there goes your proof, your evidence.
Yeah. And Marty, I know you're in fear and in shame. Read through the book. The book will give you a great play-by-play, one, to understand what's happening inside of you and what to do about it. There are resources available, and I think there's more resources available to you than you may think.
Yes.
Fear and shame are always going to try to block us from those resources.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Go to newlife.com to get more of these resources that Chris is talking about, but we're going to send you the book Intimate Deception just for calling in today to New Life Live. We're going to take a quick break, and then more of your calls coming up. Jason and Helen, 1-800-229-3000.
I went to Every Man's Battle in 2012. My sexual integrity was not what it should have been. I sought out affairs, whether physical or emotional. Until I came to Every Man's Battle, I didn't understand that would never fill that void.
Every day, men struggle with sexual integrity. Impure thoughts, strip clubs, affairs, pornography.
The shame and guilt was overwhelming.
For over 20 years, New Life Ministries has been helping men regain their integrity through their one-of-a-kind Every Man's Battle Intensive.
You will discover what the true root of your pain is, and you will discover how to overcome.
You don't have to struggle any longer. Get help in Orange County, California, January 23rd through the 25th. Call 1-800-NEW-LIFE to register or to find out more. 1-800-639-5433 or online at newlife.com. Enter the code NLL for a discount.
Every Man's Battle saved my life.
1-800-NEWLIFE and the discount code NLL.
I was sort of vaguely familiar that the 12 steps had some origination in the Bible. I found Life Recovery, and one of the things I liked so much was that it had such a broad appeal. It wasn't limited to just alcohol or drugs, that it was addressing a wide range of problems.
At New Life, we believe everyone can benefit from a life recovery experience. There are life recovery groups all over the country. They take place online, in conference calls, and in person. And if there isn't one in your area, we can help you start one. We have startup materials, leaders' guides, CDs, Bibles, and more, all with discounts available for groups. Call us at 1-800-NEW-LIFE and ask for Terry Ward. The 12 Steps have long been a great help to people in recovery because much of the 12 Steps' power comes from the fact that they capture principles clearly revealed in the Bible.
The 12 steps is really a pattern for all of us as Christians.
Call 1-800-NEW-LIFE. That's 1-800-639-5433. To find out more information about New Life or to order any of the resources mentioned on today's program, call 1-800-NEW-LIFE. Now back to New Life Live.
When you give to New Life, your gift provides counseling, workshops, radio programs, and digital resources that meet people where they are, helping them take their next step forward toward healing, hope, and restoration. Making a year-end donation today has twice the impact because of a matching gift. Now, far be it from me to tell you how to use your Christmas bonus, but your generosity can change lives and have a huge impact on hurting people all over. You can give online at newlife.com/match or by calling 1-800-NEW-LIFE or text the word MATCH to 28950. Let's go back to the phones now. Here is Jason listening on Sirius XM, channel 131 in Indianapolis. Welcome to New Life Live, Jason. Thanks for calling 1-800-229-3000.
Hi, are you there?
Yeah, we're here.
Hi. Well, I wanted to make sure I wasn't. Yeah, you hearing me okay? Yeah. So I'm a pastor in Indiana, and I have 12 grandsons or grandchildren and 5 sons, and I'm trying to find out how or what is the best way to navigate ministry alongside the children, the grandchildren, and all their affairs in life. You know, as far as ball games, wrestling matches, all these different aspects of their life that I'd like for them to enjoy, but they kind of demand me to be there. And when I'm not, it's all about ministry, which, that's not the case. So I just want some advice. I've got several counselors I could go to that are, that I just wanted to go to someone that don't know me so I could actually just get a different kind of opinion with that.
Wow. 5 kids, 12 grandkids, and only 10 days till Christmas. How is he going to do it?
5, 10, 15.
And I'm only 55, so yeah. So
wow.
Yeah, it's a big life right now.
Yeah, so I mean that's a lot to have to navigate here. 12 grandkids to try and go to every single game. Even if you didn't have a job, that would be tough to try and make all of those things, because I'm sure things conflict too. You mentioned that I think the tension is that you're being told that you're doing something wrong, that you're not showing up for them, that it's all about ministry, that you're putting ministry over them. Is that true?
Yeah, that's kind of the ultimate theme, Where they compare, like I go to one family and I might make their event twice, or another family, and they're like, well, you're at theirs twice, you're only at ours once, or you're here and there. So it almost makes me set a standard. I don't even want to go to any of it, just for the fact that they compare like that, and then they talk amongst each other, and we don't advertise it. They advertise it, so we don't Facebook it or share anything that we do with them all. They just they all talk behind the scenes.
Yeah. Do you have a healthy balance between work and family? And I know that the job of a pastor is tough. Oftentimes there are demands, outside of what, would be normal business hours, plus work in the weekends, which is usually when your family would be available. What's your work-life balance?
Yeah, so I have healthy relationship with the children and with my grandchildren. That's not the issue necessarily. Yes, we plan things and then they cancel things. We try to plan around our schedule. We try to plan a month ahead. Hey, this is our schedule. If we've got something going on, can we keep it within this schedule? And we'll work around their schedule as well. It just seems like nothing ever really is good enough to, navigate around their schedule. Versus our schedule. We are a thriving ministry as well, and we my wife and I travel a lot, with other renowned pastors. So we are gone a lot, but we are also around a lot, and it's just the fact that when we want to come and spend time with them, they have something going on, and when we want them to come with us, they have something going on. So it's
Is your spouse aligned with you? Is your wife aligned with you? Because I hear you say we.
Oh yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, she is. We are 100% in one accord. We are thriving marriage. So yeah, it's nothing to do with.
But she's aligned with your view that you are spending enough. Okay, here's what I would say to you, Jason.
Yeah.
It seems like you believe that you are doing the right thing, and the tension is that your kids are believing that you're not doing the right thing. I am the work of ministry is hard, but I am a believer that our first ministry is to our family, and yet there's a balance here that must be struck, because you're doing the Lord's work too. But we all do have blind spots. I think probably a good start for you maybe is just to sit down with each of your kids independently and just receive the feedback from them. Say, hey, listen, you're saying that I'm spending too much time with work and not enough time with you. I want to hear your heart. Let me just sit down and hear what you have to say. And so I wouldn't push back at all. I would just hear from them each individually. Now, if they're all lining up with something similar, then you might want to ask yourself, do I have a blind spot here? But if they're not, or if you do kind of check it with other trusted people, maybe you need to try and find a balance and say, okay, this is going to be my work schedule, and this is when I'm going to be devoted to work. But then I'm also going to take time where I am going to have family time, and these are going to be my openings. And, I want to spend time with you, and I want to connect with you during these times. And see if you can strike a balance here, because your grandkids are not going to be young forever.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, we'll come back to the conversation. Were you going to say something, Jason?
No, we're good. I'll wait till you come back.
Okay, thank you. Because, yeah, we do have to go to break. I also wonder if there's been some kind of sibling rivalry. And with 5 kids growing up, there was probably just that competing for the attention of mom and dad and everything. And now it's in the adult years, too. So we'll talk about that. And we want to talk to you as well. So call in to New Life Live. We're in the studio for 2 hours today. Here's the phone number, 1-800-229-3000. We'll talk to you in a little bit.
We've been married 33 years. We attended the Intimacy and Marriage Workshop. Even though we've read books or attended a few other marriage weekends, this was certainly different and a lot more intensive than initially that we thought.
When you come to Intimacy and Marriage, you're going to be immersed into a 3-day process.
Was not really sure exactly what to expect, but the idea of learning to really understand intimacy was intriguing. We had been in the same patterns of struggle over and over again.
If you've thought, I don't think we can ever change, we're just in this rut and we can't get out, the Intimacy and Marriage Workshop can help you get out of the rut.
The Intimacy and Marriage Weekend is February 13th to the 15th in Orange County, California. Register online at newlife.com or call 1-800-NEW-LIFE and use the code NLL for a discount. 1-800-639-5433.
I would highly recommend it.
Do you need help for life's hard situations?
My husband recently said he wanted a divorce.
I'm confused on what I should do.
I have an eating disorder.
New Life Live answers your questions on relationships, grief, addiction, trauma, anxiety, and much more, all from a biblical perspective with our panel of professional counselors and psychologists.
I learned a lot from your program. You help so many people.
I appreciate your ministry.
Whether you listen or watch, there are so many ways to connect with us to ask our panel of counselors a question. Call us Monday through Wednesday at 1 p.m. Eastern, 10 a.m. Pacific at 1-800-229-3000 to ask your question on New Life Live. Or go to newlife.com/radio for other ways to get your question answered.
I'm trying to find help.
I just want to know how to set boundaries.
If it's a sin, what am I supposed to do?
Need a therapist or a coach, a resource, or an intensive? Call us at 1-800-NEW-LIFE. That's 1-800-639-5433. 1-800-NEW-LIFE. To find out more information about New Life or to order any of the resources mentioned on today's program, call 1-800-NEW-LIFE. Now back to New Life Live.
And if you want to talk to Chris Williams and Marc Cameron, the phone lines are open at 1-800-229-3000. And we're speaking with Jason in Indianapolis. You still with us, Jason?
Yeah, I'm here.
All right, Chris.
Well, Jason, I love what Mark had shared with you, and I think it's really important to sit down, have that conversation with your 5 boys, maybe even their spouses. But I'd start with your 5 sons and just see where they're at and where the relationship is at. One of the things that I constantly see as a blind spot, not for you, but for all of us, is that as we age and go into different phases of life, we don't have the conversations to move relationship into the similar phase. And so like with our parents, we're still relating to them as if we were teenagers or vice versa. When each season requires a renewing or redefining of the relationship and what it means and what it doesn't mean, because in the midst of this are a lot of expectations that are either not communicated or unmet or just flat out don't reflect reality. And so I just think that, coming back and having honest, open conversations around all of this. The other thing is that, children and grandchildren, they can put expectations, again, on grandparents or parents that are not realistic. It's important, and they may be disappointed. I think we have to tolerate some of that disappointment, meaning that we got to let them work through some of that as we do what we can to adjust to a healthy, loving relationship. But Jason, I'm going to touch on something that it's only because I tend to see a lot of pastors in my practice that have very big lives. And here is one of the traps I'm really, really concerned with you. Everything is important, and everything cannot be that important. And so you have a big ministry, you have a big family, and everything needs your attention, everything needs your energy and investment, and all of that. it tends to pile up and pile up and pile up, but we become a frog in a boiling pot of water until it hits a tipping point, and then something boils over. And so there is the compromise of decision making, not saying that that's your case at all, but I just see it over and over again. But really at the end of the day, it's a diminished return, meaning that we as a human being able to show up with God's best, or even with a semblance of God's will some days, just gets chipped away at making everything the most important thing, where it just can't be, when we deny our own self-care and our own well-being. Does any of that resonate?
I'm a pretty healed person, and I'm pretty structured in life.
Good. Good.
I've been through so much freedom and healing in my life. I had 4 dads by the time I was 16 years old. So, I lived that kind of a life growing up, and I had a lot of wounds that were healed, and I feel like I'm as free as I've ever been in my whole life. And I have sat down with all the children, and we've had individual dinners talking about, hey, is there anything that I did as a dad that, that I messed up on it, and I'm willing to apologize, by not knowing how to be a dad necessarily when I started having children, because I had 4 dads. I didn't really resonate with that, but I learned as I went, and I went back to every one of them and sit down conversation and said, is there something that missed it that I need to apologize for, something I need to repent of to you? And they're like, no, we're good, Dad. We're good, Dad. We're good, Dad. And so that's the feedback I get from them. But I do hear from other people, friends of mine, that they'll say, well, I want Dad to be answer me in a way Dad would answer me and not in the way a pastor would answer. But I don't know how to discern Dad from pastor, because I'm a Christian, and so they're not living that lifestyle. So prospectively, just being around them, they hear things that I'm not even saying, and so they're hearing me speak just with my being. And so and the perception is off, I believe, to some extent with them. And if it's off with me, I'm willing to go back and make whatever right. And I'm willing to get whatever healing, or go to them with whatever needs to happen. But I just feel like that, when we try, I go visit them. I text them weekly. I text them all today. I text them weekly. Love you, boys. Proud of you, boys. If you need anything, Dad's here. And it's a constant. We have that kind of relationship where we text like that.
Any other thoughts, Mark?
Yeah, here's what I would say then, Jason. Maybe try going to a family counselor, and just to have that person facilitate the discussion, because I'm hearing you say that you've sat with them, you've texted them, you've checked in with them, but maybe having just an outside person who is independent, just to facilitate the conversation. And that person can often be able to see the dynamics that are happening in a family. If one person is not sharing enough, or if one person is sharing too much, they can help facilitate the discussion, slow it down, or maybe help, even if they're not able to put the right words to what they're feeling on the inside, or what they want to communicate to you, and maybe that person can help them do that. So that might be an option for you, is just to have maybe a couple of family counseling sessions and just see how productive that could be.
We're going to send you a copy of Doing Life with Your Adult Children just for calling into the program today, Jason. God bless you there in Indianapolis. 1-800-229-3000 is the number to call today, and we're going to be in the studio for the rest of this hour and next hour, so do call in. Here is Helen, who is in Leesport, Pennsylvania, listening on WBYN. Welcome, Helen, to New Life Live.
Hi.
Hello.
I'm calling about it. Hi.
What's your question for us today?
Do you pray for people with depression?
Okay. Are you depressed?
Yes, I've been for a long time. Yes.
Okay.
Helen, how long well, if you don't mind asking your age, how old are you?
I'll be 84 in January.
And how long have you been depressed?
Well, I was depressed years ago, and it seemed to disappear, but I got it back again this past year, I guess because my husband passed away.
That makes perfect sense, that if it would come back as you lose your husband, that is devastating.
We would have been married 64 years.
Wow. Helen, where's your support?
I was never alone.
Yeah. And since since his passing, have you experienced much support from family, friends, community, church?
No, I don't let them know. I don't like people knowing that I'm depressed. No.
Okay, and I'm just curious, what's blocking you, or what you said you don't like it? What do you not like about letting people know that you're feeling and experiencing what you're feeling and experiencing?
Well, they have their own health issues and all that. And, they have their own issues.
So if I'm to interpret that correctly, you don't want to be a burden on them because they have enough burden?
Right.
Oh, okay. Let me ask one more question. Where did you learn that you were a burden?
I don't know.
I don't know either.
I don't know.
Because if you would think back in your life, because I can tell that you're a person who loves really well. And there's other people in your life where they were hurting, or it sounds like you're in a deep grief process, and that you were there for them, and that it was an honor for you to be able to do that.
I didn't do enough for my husband when he was sick for 6 years.
So you're carrying some of that, like a guilt feeling, like, oh, man, I should have done more for him?
Yes.
Okay. Well, Helen, that's really, really helpful, because in the midst of this, everything that you're explaining so far tells us that you're deep, deep into grief. And it makes perfect sense that you are, because of the loss of your husband. And so what I'm getting at is doing that. We are just not designed to do grief on our own. It's this weird tension inside of us that we don't want to bother anyone, or we don't want to be a burden, or it just kind of could be embarrassing. And so we kind of hide in our grief. When grief, by God's design, needs comfort. And so the very thing that we need, we're being blocked from with our fears or dislikes in your case.
Mark, what would you?
Yeah, Helen, Chris is absolutely right in what he's saying here, and depression causes us to isolate. It causes us to feel guilty. We often have those thoughts of, I should have done more, I should be doing more, and then that keeps us stuck in this spiral. But the antidote to depression and grief is community, is getting out there, is getting comfort, is getting support. So let us put you in touch with a counselor, because, the counseling relationship is supposed to be imbalanced. Usually healthy relationships are balanced, but in therapy, it's supposed to be in balance where that person is there for you. And I think, getting into a grief group or getting in with a counselor, I think could be really helpful. So let us connect you.
Helen, you remind me of Marty, who called in earlier, and she didn't want to share what she's going through because of that fear of being shamed and admitting that there's something going on. But we need community. We'll be back here on New Life Live.
Hi, I'm Dr. John Townsend. The new year is a perfect time to move from intention to action. If you felt a nudge to deepen your leadership, your counseling, or coaching skill set, the Townsend Institute at Concordia University, Irvine can help you move forward. We offer accredited online degree programs in counseling, leadership, executive coaching, and consulting, from certificates to master's to PhD programs. Classes for spring 2026 begin in February with flexible online options designed for busy professionals. If growth is on your list for the year ahead, take a next step today. Sign up for our online information night, Townsend Institute Live, on Wednesday, January 14th. You'll interact directly with our faculty, our staff, and our alumni. You'll get your questions answered, and we'll waive your application fee for attending. So learn more and register at cui.edu/Townsend. I hope to meet you soon. God bless.
For over 35 years, New Life has been the most trusted name in Christian counseling.
Your ministry has saved my life.
If you struggle with emotional hurt, family or marriage problems, the pit of depression, or the pain of addiction, we can help.
I'm down 100 pounds now from what I was.
I found a counselor through New Life Ministries, and it's just been outstanding.
Our treatment programs provide clinically appropriate solutions from licensed professionals, all in a biblical framework.
I have had problems with alcohol. I think God has ordained this place to be His.
You don't have to be a prisoner of your pain. Help is available at 1-800-NEW-LIFE.
She tells me that I'm a new man, and I feel like a new man.
It worked for me, and it can work for them too.
This time it is different.
If you're ready to take the first steps toward genuine spiritual and emotional healing, call us today at 1-800-NEW-LIFE. God can open the door for a better tomorrow.
To get someone that's competent, that's good at what they do, it's been like day and night compared to what I've had before.
Call 1-800-639-5433. To find out more information about New Life or to order any of the resources mentioned on today's program, call 1-800-NEW-LIFE. Now back to New Life Live.
Helen, just for calling in today to New Life Live, we're going to send you a copy of the Life Recovery Workbook for Grief from the newlife.com store. 1-800-229-3000 is the number to call us today. And by the way, if you watch NRB TV on DirecTV channel 378, you might have noticed that our Life Recovery Today TV program aired this morning at 8:30 Central Time. Our broadcast time shifted to Mondays at 8:30 a.m. Central with a replay on Wednesdays at 3 p.m. Central. But if you're unable to watch on NRB TV, you can still catch episodes on the New Life YouTube channel. Life Recovery Today, for those who don't know, is a show that delivers the biblical tools and truth you need to break free from addiction and reclaim your life by using the 12-step life recovery process. Let's now talk to, Lynn. Lynn hung up. Lynn, call us back at 1-800-229-3000. So we'll go to Kathleen in Kansas City, who is listening on Sirius XM channel 131. Hey, Kathleen, welcome.
Hey, good afternoon or good morning, whatever the case may be.
All the things.
It depends on where you are. Listen, I have a question concerning prayer. My husband and I have been Christians for a very long time. We've only been growing in the Spirit for the past 4 or 5 years, yet we do not seem to travel the same road, so to speak. Prayer, to me, when I pray, sounds awkward and ineffective, and I do it mostly because we're told to do it, in the Bible, and it's effective in a lot of people's lives. So I do it in my mind out loud. It's very, very rare that I do. My husband and I do not pray together, and I seriously would absolutely love that to be something that we did. Again, it's awkward, and I really don't feel it's effective. But I've seen prayer work in other people's lives and even in my own from other people praying with me. Do you have any thoughts on that or how we can change that?
When you say it's not effective praying together, what do you mean?
Oh, not just praying together. When I pray myself, I really feel like it's not going anywhere, that I'm being superficial and that, word never returns unfruitful.
Kathleen,
but I just feel, go ahead.
Growing up, were you allowed to talk about problems with your parents, with your family? Did you have someone to share with and talk with openly?
Oh, heavens no. I grew up in a Catholic environment with a lot, inundated with sexual, emotional, and physical abuse. My sister, who is 5 years older than me, she got saved at a very young age at Campus Crusade for Christians, and she was the only rock in the family. There were 8 kids, and 7 of us were saved because of her influence. And by the grace of God, she and I now have a wonderful relationship, even though we live 4 hours apart. No, there was absolutely none of that.
Right, so you answered what I suspected. So when you grew up, you didn't have anybody to share with. You had to kind of hold everything in, and maybe even if you did try, maybe you had experiences, because I'm sure you tried somehow, which is how you learn that you shouldn't be, you shouldn't be sharing. It was either shut down or dismissed. And so that makes sense why praying out loud and praying with others can seem awkward and uncomfortable, because it's in some ways alien to you. So the only way to get good at something is to practice it. So, and everything that we start to do at the beginning, every expert was once a novice. It feels uncomfortable. It can feel awkward when we learn something new. But as you push through that phase, I often tell people the path to comfort is discomfort. You got to push through the discomfort first before you become comfortable with something. Would your husband be willing to pray out loud with you if you asked him to?
Yes, he's very good at praying out loud.
Okay.
He's asked to in Sunday school, and actually it's quite elegant and his praying. We do not pray together, which just breaks my heart.
Yeah, so you want to.
You talk about moving through the awkwardness. I've been trying to do that for 5 years now. The awkwardness is still there.
Yeah, well, Kathleen, there's something that's in the way that is creating the awkwardness that Mark, I think beautifully led you into. You weren't allowed to make mistakes, but more importantly than that, you weren't allowed to be honest with the words that are available to you. When children have words that are available to them, they're very limited. And so what happens is like, I hurt, or I'm mad, or it starts there. Now for us, if that didn't have permission, if that didn't have a place, or we weren't given the words, then it all feels awkward. But more than awkward, I think is more than awkward. It's scary. Vulnerability, if vulnerability equaled pain or rejection, then vulnerability is something to be avoided. Prayer is vulnerable. Prayer with a spouse is incredibly vulnerable and incredibly intimate. And so there is typically a belief there about yourself of like not good enough, or I'm doing something wrong, or this is really scary, or if we grow up in a more rigid environment, I have to have the right words. If I don't have the right words, then. But if we think of God as a perfect father, the most loving father that you can possibly imagine, he does not expect our words to be perfect. He has a good father just wants to be with their children, just wants to hear them and see them and know what's going on and be able to respond with care, with leadership, sometimes correction, all of those sort of things. Mark helped you see that you don't have any of that muscle memory in your past, in your earthly experiences. So that vulnerability is, again, it's going to come with a lot of fear, and it's going to feel awkward. But to Mark's point, I tell my boys this when we have hard conversations about sensitive things. Hey, we're going to get awkward and weird because we can do awkward and weird. Similar, like we're going to do something that's hard because we can do things that are hard. But I think one of the other things that is really helpful is helped me in my prayer life quite a bit is when I don't have the words. And I'm super impressed with your motivation, by the way. The fact that you're pursuing this the way that you are, I think is beautiful. It's an incredible thing. But
thank you.
A lot of times I have to use the words given to me to reflect it back. Right? Children do that all the time with their parents. They use their parents' words because that's the ones that they learn. The words of Scripture and the prayers of Scripture are great words given to us that we can give back to God because they allow the expression of it. Does that make sense? So praying a psalm that says, then use the words of the psalm.
So you're saying she doesn't have to use her own words. And I think if she's comparing herself to how her husband prays, she said he prays very elegantly, and if she's struggling to get even 2 or 3 words out.
But I wonder too if I agree with Chris, and I was going to suggest something similar about reading scripture out loud. But also, I grew up going to a Catholic school, and in Catholicism, you get given the words.
That's true.
You have to say them, and so I think for you, it might be learning just to kind of speak and have a conversation. We're running out of time here, but here's another suggestion for you, Kathleen: is join a women's prayer group. as you
that's
get
good.
around other women who kind of pray their hearts. And I think that's what you really need to learn how to do, is learn how to pray your heart. If you get around others, as Chris was saying, we pick up on the language of others. And if you can get comfortable around, those peers, then you may be more comfortable around your husband eventually. I believe you will be more comfortable around your husband eventually.
And there's nothing wrong with just praying, "Our Father who art in heaven, hallowed be thy name." Just start with that, and then that could get you going into, where you add different parts as you pray. So we're going to send you a copy of the 100 Days of Prayer devotional from the newlife.com store, and we're going to keep the phone lines open, so call in 1-800-229-3000.
Thanks for listening. We hope this program has helped you by giving you insights for handling the challenges you face in your life. We want you to know that we're here for you, but you also need to know that New Life Live is a listener-supported ministry. To make your donation or to get any of the resources mentioned on today's program, call 1-800-NEW-LIFE. That's 1-800-639-5433 or online at newlife.com. Please join us again tomorrow for New Life Live.